Hi, and welcome to Q's Workshop. Today I continue on the WigWag engine, and this will be the last episode in the series, and that's making the tension nut that holds the cylinder. So it's going to be a pretty simple operation, just turning down some diameters on the lathe, drill and tap for a M4. The only difference is the knurling. I'm not going to do knurling. So I've only got a straight knurler. I don't have a diamond pattern knurler, and for me the straight pattern knurling doesn't look nice. So what I'm going to do is this back end of the nut, I'm going to keep it a bit bigger, and then I'm going to make scallops on the back there. So I'll probably leave it to 20 mils of the actual stock, and then I'll just make scallops around the outside. For the front end, with the spring, so the front end here has to be turned down to the same inner diameter of the spring. Mine is 6.5, so I'll take that down to 6 millimeters, the same as what I've done with the bearing. So that's just that the spring kind of has a little ledge that it sits on there so that it doesn't move and pull skew. All right, so that's it. Let's get this into the lathe and we take it from there.
Alright, I'm going to leave it there. It doesn't have to be a perfect dimension, this. So I'm going to clean it up with a little bit of sandpaper anyway. So we'll leave it there. Let's just get this drilled and tapped quickly, and then we'll put on the little front lip, because that front lip for the spring is going to be pretty close to the dimension of the hole, so I rather want to do that after I've got the hole drilled. Alright, so we've got all the dimensions now. It's going to be time to part it off soon, but what I want to do is I just want to get some sandpaper on here, very fine sandpaper, to make this nice, clean it up a little bit, and then we'll part it off, put chamfers on these two edges where the scallops are going. Alright, that's it. Now we'll just get this over to the mill. I'll clean this up a little bit further once it's done. Let's get it over to the mill and we can get those scallops cut in.
Alright, over at the mill now. So I'm going to be using the DRO hole pattern to actually plunge the scallops with a end mill. So I've already found the center of the workpiece in the mill. Now it's just to set the DRO for the hole pattern. So just here on the board quickly, my workpiece is 20 millimeters in diameter, and I'm going to be using an 8 millimeter end mill, but I don't want the actual scallop to go in too deep, but I do want it broad. That's why I'm using an 8 millimeter and not a smaller end mill. So I only want the end mill to cut into the workpiece 3 millimeters, so it will give a shallow, but it will give a broad scallop. So to get the 3 mil in, I need to make sure that I have the radius of the hole pattern that I'm going to create on the DRO now needs to be 1 millimeter off of the radius. So that will be 2 millimeters on the diameter. So I'm going to then use 22 millimeters diameter. And that means that if I follow that hole pattern that it will create around the outside, 1 millimeter will be offset and 3 millimeters will be cut into the workpiece. So if we just go here, so we want to do hole pattern. Yes. So I've gone through all these settings already, so a lot of it's already set, but the 0, 0 is going to be the center, yes. The diameter of the hole pattern that it creates is, or on that diameter, is 22 millimeters, yes. How many holes do I want? I want 6 holes around. Starting angle is going to be on 0 degrees and the ending angle is on 360. Therefore, it uses an entire circle to actually make the hole pattern on. And then it gives you the values. So for the first hole, I've ultimately just got to navigate till the X and the Y is 0. As soon as I'm at 0, 0, I can plunge. I then go to hole number 2. I've got to make sure that these two numbers are 0, 0. Then I plunge, and so we just go through all the holes. All right. Let me get you over to the workpiece.
Right, so I'm on my 0, 0 point now. There you can see that's middle. So I'm just going to navigate over, as I showed on the DRO, when it's 0, 0 for X and Y, that would be my first hole, and I can plunge it. It's not tightened. I put it in and never tightened it. Right, that's the scallops cut. Just going to put a chamfering tool in, and then we can chamfer the edges.
Right, so that's it for today. I think this came out really good. Rather using the scallop than the knurling. Like I said, I've only got a straight knurler. Probably could have done something with the threading function on the lathe to make a diamond pattern or something like that, but I think this came out really nice. It's got a bit of a mark there where I forgot to fasten it into the collet block properly. I know at the end of the video I said I was going to put a chamfering end mill in just to clean up these edges, but I was going to have to do the bottom edges anyway and along the sides here with some sandpaper. So I thought I'll do it all with a very light sandpaper, so I cleaned it up. But it came out really nice. So full disclosure, that was not my first attempt. Here's my first attempt. So everything came out really good. It's only when I started doing the scallops on the mill, I didn't configure the DRO correctly for the whole pattern. So the start and end was set to 15 degrees and 345 degrees, and I just left it like that. But that caused the whole pattern to be in the wrong place. So the last hole was going to be in this small little section here, which would have overlapped the other holes, which obviously wouldn't have been right. So I did try and correct it then by taking a bigger end mill and trying to kind of overlap those and clean it up, but it wasn't going to work. So I rather just scrap that and start it again. And it came out looking pretty good. I know I said that this was going to be the last video, so unfortunately this one is getting pretty long and I still need to assemble and then try and run it. So I'm going to do that in a separate video, so keep an eye out for that. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.